All right, gang, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got here on the left the Bandai of America Power Rangers Deluxe Ninja Steel Megazords. And then here on the right, we have the Japanese versions. So we're going to do a quick comparison of all the different figures. One thing I need to get out of the way just off the bat is the Japanese figures are always going to be bigger. They just are. But here in the case of Shinobi Maru, you could see they are virtually identical styling-wise, but the paint here on the Japanese version is vastly superior to that of the USA version. And the plastics used are also superior. Yeah, both of them do have the same problem of they have trouble standing up. Here are the two dragons, and they actually do get the wings and the sword transformed a little differently. As you can see, the swords attach in the exact same manner to their butts, effectively, but you can see on the Japanese version, the dragon leans forward more, plus the wings attach to the sides of the sword, not onto the top of the sword. Overall, they are very similar for the most part, but the Japanese version, A, doesn't break, B, has a lot more a lot more paint, and C, transforms differently when we get into limb mode. Dump trucks. The two dump trucks have some of the biggest differences, though. Here on the USA version, there is no part that flips up to form the top of the dump truck, though you can see that the molding is relatively similar. However, the USA version has just removed some functionality in favor of a Zord builder port randomly on the side. There is an exposed fist here on the USA version as well, and the USA version has the extra joint component for plugging in the train. The wheels are roughly the same, and the overall styling is roughly the same, but you can actually see the major differences. You've got different paneling back here. The ports on the side are in the same location, but they are different. There's just more happening on the Japanese version, and there's more paint, and obviously more plastic. The other big difference is the seat. In the USA version, the seat is the footrest is one big piece of plastic. In the Japanese version, it's actually two separate pieces of plastic. And obviously, again, the paint. Next up are the Duggies, and as you can see, the big paint difference is obvious on the back and on the head, but overall it's just, I think they're the same exact molding, just scaled down. The USA version, though, I will give it credit, it does look like the legs are separate pieces, but they don't fold up like the Japanese version does. The USA version is just one kind of solid piece of plastic for the body, or I should say two pieces sandwiched together, while the Japanese version actually feels, more constructed and has more use to it. Though, let's be honest, the dog never really does much in the show to begin with. And finally, we have the trains, and as you can see, the USA version is obviously lacking in paint. Quite a bit of it, in fact. The other big difference is on the Japanese version here in the front, you can see that we've got the hip component that actually slides onto the dump truck, while in the USA version, it's just held together with this piece of plastic connecting the two. So paint and actually functionality. So that's the major differences we've got here. The last thing to compare are the Ninja Stars. Now here in the US, it is just a giant hunk of plastic, all one big piece of plastic with the little flip down. Japanese version has the sound gimmick and lights as well, but my batteries have run out. And obviously, look at the difference in size on the connector port. That's just simply because the Japanese version has the lights and sounds gimmick. One other thing I noticed is the faces are painted differently. The reds are actually different, and there's black around the eyes in the Japanese version, and the faces are slightly different. It's not just a scaled down version. There's more detailing and more dynamic cutting of the face on the Japanese version. Probably my biggest surprise when comparing these two is how close they are once they're combined. They're actually kind of almost the same height, as you could see, the biggest difference being the giant light sound compartment there. The other big difference is just paint. But Bandai of America has gotten darn close. They're not exactly there, but they're close. And that's kind of good enough for the American market, unfortunately. Now, I do want to do one last quick comparison for you, other than the dragon mode, which I'll show you, are the swords. As you can see, the Japanese sword is actually 2 different pieces of plastic and colored. The USA version is not. Same styling. I can color it myself. And then finally, the shield. The Japanese version is actually the 2 wings combined together like that into what is a shield. The USA version is just 2 pieces of plastic hot glued together, it looks like, or maybe just poured together. It doesn't actually form the shield mode. So you have this big open shield versus what I consider actually to be a shield. And with the dragon mode, if I'm honest, they're both pretty dumb. I also can't find the blue ninja star for the Japanese version, so you have to deal with the red, but at least there is an extra little bit to give him a bigger head, and the wings I think work better on the Japanese version because they're farther out to the sides, while the USA version it's just kind of slapdash. But let's face it, both of these modes are slapdash. Neither of them are very good. From an aesthetic standpoint, the USA version is actually pretty good and very close to the Ninja version, but it's still not there yet. From a quality standpoint, the USA version is utter crap, while the Japanese version holds together with no problem. Now, if you're wondering where the Ninja or the Shinobi Megazord's little footstool went, it popped off, launched across the room, and then one of my cats started playing with it, and I haven't really bothered to go and try and find it. So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this comparison video of the 2 different versions of the Zords. As always, I'm Baltmatrix. Ask you to give me a thumbs up if you liked it, give me a thumbs down if you didn't, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.